Hello, and in this episode I'm going to start work on the eye. Okay, so for this stage I'm going to start with a 2B pencil, and what I'm going to do first of all is just apply the 2B and build up the initial drawing around the eye itself. And I just continue this just to bring out the rest of the markings around the eye. I am using the 2B blunt because even with something like a soft pencil like a 2B, if it's too sharp it will still scratch and indent the paper. Now I want to start to build some shape into the eye, and to do this I'm going to start by using a blending stump. The blending stump is ideal for this as it is very soft, and this one is very old and it did start out life white, but through years of use it's become really ingrained with graphite and it's ideal for this. I use it to apply light tone to the paper. It also works it into the grain of the paper, stopping any white speckles showing through, because particularly in the eye we want to try to get a nice glassy look. As you can see, this blender is really ingrained with graphite from years of use, which makes it ideal for the purpose that I want to use it for. Even though it is so worn, it can still be used to put in some of the more subtle markings within the eye. And the great thing as well about using the blender is anything I do, if needed, can quite easily be removed with the putty rubber. And now I can just continue to do the same thing to build up some tone in what is the skin area around the eye. Now I need to start to build up a darker depth of tone within the eye. And starting with the blunt 2B pencil first, using little circles, I now start to very lightly brush tone across the surface of the paper. And I can then use the blender to work the tone of the 2B into the grain of the paper. This way we don't get any grain showing through, and that's how we can start to maintain a nice glassy look to it. And I just repeat this process until I'm happy with the look. I just do the same thing for the upper part of the eyeball, which is in shadow, and just do the same process of applying 2B pencil and blender just to build up a nice depth of tone again to get rid of the grain. Using a 4B pencil, I now work back over what I've already done just to darken the tone just that little bit more. So I'm happy with how the eye is starting to look. So what I'm going to do now is move on to putting some of the more detailed areas into the eye and the patterns that are in there. And to do this, I first start by using the blunt 2B pencil again. I now use a sharp 4H pencil to engrave a line around the bottom of the eye. This will create the effect of a hard edge separating the eye from the skin area surrounding it. I only do this for the lower part of the eye because the top part is in shadow. Using a 9B pencil, I now just build the last bit of contrast into the eye. Now, because I use the Caran pencils, I find that the 9B is incredibly stable, and just to finish it, I always find it best just to use a 2B pencil over the edges just to blend it out. So I'm now using the 4H pencil to create a bit of texture in the highlighted areas below the eye. And to do this, I'm just using a very tight little pattern of like figure of eights. And this is to create the effect of skin texture. Using a sharp 2B pencil, I now just apply a little bit of tone into some areas. And by rolling a point on the end of the putty rubber, I can just pick out some of the highlights. And I now just simply repeat the same process again. By dragging the 4H pencil through the darker tone around the eye, the 4H will pick up the darker tone and will break up the edge of the skin area where it transitions into the fur. Using a 2B pencil, I now just brush a little bit of tone above the eye, and then with the 4H, I just use that again just to break up the edge where the skin texture meets the fur. Next time I'll start to work on the fur around the eye, and if you have any questions then leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Also as well, there's a link in the description below to any of the materials that I recommend. And if you have found this useful, then please remember to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel out, and hopefully see you in the next video.